All right. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. For the guests who don't know me, I'm Dr. Sedano. I've been practicing in this area, Roswell, really all my practicing years for about 22 years now, going on 23 this year. So it's exciting. In fact, we're opening up another office, so that's exciting too. When I had this thought for this talk, I wanted to start off the new year, and typically the big two you want to talk about are going to be things like nutrition and then exercise. So exercise is going to be next month, and we're going to give you a lot of the newest cutting-edge research and information and science on that. But this is going to be more about super nutrition. And there's a lot of things you could talk about when it comes to nutrition, but there's a lot of misconceptions. And I want to keep it as simple as possible, stick with the basics. We're not going to talk about any kind of, crazy supplements you have to buy. It's not about that. This is about stuff you can get at your own grocery store, things you should be eating normally anyway, the things that we're designed to eat. So you don't need to go out and find some exotic berry from some place in South Africa or South America or anything like that. This is all stuff that we can find. I tend to like to start my talks with a little bit of inspiration. So I want to read a quote from Nelson Mandela's 1994 speech, his inaugural speech. He says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." Now, I don't know about you, but how many times do we feel that we need to shrink back because we don't want to make somebody else feel bad, or we don't feel good about ourselves, or maybe we're not feeling good, and as a result, we can't live to the full glory that God created us to be? The truth of the matter is every single one of us has a soul purpose. You know what yours are. Maybe you're searching for it, but for the most part, you know what your passions are. And many of you know that, I'd love to be able to do what I want to do, but I don't feel good. I'm tired. I'm always cranky. I just don't have the energy to do the things. I don't have barely enough energy to take care of my kids and do this and my job and take care of my husband or my wife, things like that. So really, what my job is to do is to help lead, motivate, inspire you, give you better ideas than maybe what you're doing right now. Because if there's things that are getting in the way of you and your personal goals, you and your personal soul mission, my job is to remove that, because I want you to make manifest that glory that God put within you and shine. And you can't do that if you don't feel well, okay? So our goal tonight is to really learn, to share, to experience. And so that way, when you go home tonight, my prayer is that you'll take what you learned today and start really applying it. I'm going to give you things you could do today right away. Not that you have to go home and make all kinds of crazy changes, but just start to do some subtle things little by little. What's that old saying? Everything is a cinch inch by inch. So we're going to start to give you little things that you can do to make changes in your life that are going to be really long-term changes, okay? Because the little things you do now, even if it's just a millimeter change here and there, those percentages or percentage change is going to add up to big changes later on, okay? So how many of us feel like this, right? And by the way, this seminar is not just for people who are struggling with a weight issue or anything like that, because being light's not healthy either, believe it or not. Now, it's probably a little bit healthier than being heavier, but at the same time, being light doesn't mean that you're fit, because you could be very fit, but yet, like my mom, be struggling with cancer. So being fit means you have lean muscle mass, you've got a good, healthy body weight, not that you're just lighter, okay? So being light isn't necessarily it. But so many of us struggle with this issue. I'd say this is probably one of the biggest issues that anybody has right now, whether you're dealing with just 10 pounds or 20 pounds, or some people we see on TV on these shows, hundreds of pounds, okay? How many people remember back to Father Knows Best? Can you see okay? I'll move around. I move a lot. Father Knows Best, Robert Young, and I forget who the other lady was. Anyway, but you look back at the time back in the 50s. Back in the 50s, I don't remember my mom ever running around doing any kind of physical activity other than, taking care of the kids and all, which is physical, and taking care of the house. But I never remembered my mom once putting on a pair of running shoes and gone running. I never remember my dad or my mom once saying, you know what, I'm going to hit the gym for about 2-3 hours, or my dad saying, I'm going to shoot some hoops. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to play about 4 rounds of tennis, and I'll be back in about 4 hours. That never happened, but yet everybody was always around the same size. Women on average were about a size 4. Men on average were about 165 pounds. Now I'm about 168, so you can get an idea what that looks like. And yet they never did a lot of exercise, but they always stayed that way. Okay, what was the difference? Were they genetically different back then? Or were they making different decisions regarding their health? Maybe with the foods that they were eating, or told the foods that they were eating, they were actually healthier than they were today. So we're going to talk about those kinds of things and dispel some of these different myths. But the bottom line is, this is the state of America today. Just looking at statistics, 2 out of 3 people in this country are going to die of heart disease or cancer. So now many of you have heard me say those statistics before, so it's not as shocking. But about 2/3 of this room are going to die from just 2 diseases, statistically. Okay, now the nice part about it is patients in our practice don't fall into those statistics. Okay, we've never lost a single patient to cancer or heart disease. So obviously we're doing some things different. But the reality is about 1/3 here, say, would get the cancer. This third's going to get the heart disease. This third, you're thinking, thank God we're not those 2. Okay, let it be them, right? No, the reality is the other third is going to get the diabetes, the Alzheimer's, the obesity, and all the other degenerative diseases. That statistically, if you live in the United States now, which we all do, you've got about a 1 in 1,000 chance of making it to 60 and in good health. And I'm not talking 60 and breathing. I'm talking about 60 with a quality of life that you love, that you enjoy. You don't wake up in pain every single day. You can go to the beach. You can run with your kids. You can play sports. That's the quality of life I'm talking about. Not that you could just fog a mirror. Okay? That's not a quality of life. But yet, this is the state of health in this country right now. So we need to make a lot of changes. We need to look at things differently. So let's start with dispelling some of the myths. So just looking at the present way we look at weight loss and exercise and so on, you want to typically what? Eat less and exercise more. Yeah, I'll just starve myself. In fact, if I have to get ready for some kind of event, I've got some trip coming up, I'll just starve myself. And I'm just going to exercise like crazy. I'm going to be on that treadmill for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm just going to sweat it off, right? Isn't fat liquid sweat? Okay, or sweat liquid fat, I should say. I mean, that's what we think, right? So I'm just going to eat less and exercise more. I'm going to focus on calorie quantity. So I'm just going to reduce my calories because calories are the culprit. That's what we've always been taught. Fight against our set point weight. So that's a new term for a lot of us here. Set point weight. That's the weight that your body likes to be comfortable at. Do you ever notice that as you're losing weight, you say, you know what? Yeah, I got on this great weight loss program. I lost about 5 or 6, 7 pounds. And then it came right back. No matter what you did. In fact, it comes back faster and faster every time. In fact, sometimes you'll even get to a point where you take your set point and move it up a little bit. So if your set point was at 125 or 135, now it's at 150. And you're going, wait, how'd that happen? I've been trying to eat. I've been starving myself eating lettuce. I don't get it. Okay? So it focuses on short-term weight loss, never really doing quality changes that we can do for the rest of our lives. We see a lot of diet programs out there that, you're thinking, wow, this is great. People are losing weight like crazy on it, whether it be, the South Beach diet or Atkins diet or the Twinkie diet. There really is a Twinkie diet. Or, the Hollywood diet, whatever it is. And I'm not picking on any of them, but they typically are on short-term weight loss. And my thing is, if you can't do it for the rest of your life, it's not a healthy diet plan. And you shouldn't really even be on a diet, because the first 3 words of diet are die, right? Did you notice that? It should never be a diet. It should be a lifestyle, okay? So, slows down our metabolism and ignores hormonal issues. That's a big one right there, especially for you ladies, because the hormones are such a huge factor in whether your body's going to be burning fat or storing it. Okay? Big, big difference there. And it's got to do everything with our hormones. Now, pretty neat, huh? This is what we're going to focus on now. Actually eating more and exercising less. Oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. That just goes in the face of all the logic we've heard. You're going to eat more and still lose weight, and you're going to actually exercise less and still lose weight? Yes. When you eat smart, scientifically smart, and exercise scientifically smart, you will lose the weight. Okay? Leverages calorie quality to take care of calorie quantity, so better quality calories, and then we don't have to worry about the quantity of calories anymore. It's going to lower our set point, focuses on long-term fat loss and health, and it speeds up our metabolism, and it focuses instead on the hormonal issues. So we're going to address the hormonal issues, because if you don't fix those, the two hormones we're going to be talking about, if we don't fix those two hormones, you're not going to ever lose weight. You're not going to get that fit, tight, shaped body that you want. So, in the 1970s, diet and nutrition experts reduced food and exercise to the lowest common denominator, calories. It's really what it was about. Calories in versus calories out. In fact, they said back then, too, that all calories are created equal. A calorie is a calorie. Same thing, right? In fact, I know a lot of exercise or diet programs, I should say, that really focus on points or calories, and as long as you're within a certain range, you're okay. Well, I've never liked those because it doesn't address one underlying issue, and that's food quality. So I could starve myself all day long, but have the chocolate cake at night as long as I'm within my points. That's not really nutrition. And you'll find you're actually starving your body internally like that, and the body doesn't like it, and it reacts to that. We'll talk about that. Everything in moderation. Yeah, I could have everything. Now, I do have a rule that I take that's about an 80-20, or my wife says I'm more like a 90-10 fanatic. But in that, I do splurge a little bit, but it's more like the 10% of the time, or like maybe the 20 at the most. And the rest of the time, the other 80%, I do the right thing and I eat the right things. So you can do that too. So that's what I call in moderation. It just doesn't mean that, I'll have, a quarter of the chocolate cake instead of just half of it. That's moderation for me. So one myth is weight loss does not equal calories in and calories out. In fact, a study done between 1977 and 2006. What they did was they took ladies and they said, how many calories are you guys eating more between this date range? So now, 77 to 2006, they found that people were eating an average of 570 calories more. So if we did the math, and there's this whole mathematical system where you're calculating how many calories, fat burns, and so on, well, we looked at it and said, if calorie counting math makes sense, the average person would have gained 476 pounds during that time range. So how many people do we see walking around? And I know there's people out there that are heavy, but at the same result, the average person would have had a net weight gain of 476 pounds. So we would have had 500-600 pound people walking around on average. So the math doesn't add up. And what we found is, because the body actually modifies and changes, it doesn't make sense to just do calorie math. In other words, we're not a calculator. Our body will adjust and adapt according to calories. So this kind of just calories in, calories out thinking does not work anymore. In fact, when you look at the research, another study was done with 34 men and 34 women and 29 men between 20 and 60 years of age. They had two different groups. One was a better quality group and one was a worse quality group. One had, they just basically ate the Western diet. They did 40 minutes of aerobic activity about 6 days a week. Just typically what people do. They eat what everybody else eats, within reason, maybe a lettuce salad here and there, and exercise about the same amount. The other group, well, they exercised about 60% of what the other group did, so that 40% decrease. They ate better quality foods, and they worked out in less the time, and they did more high-intensity training, okay, the kind we're going to be talking about. And what they found was this. When it came to body fat loss, the group that worked out less but ate more, in other words, better quality, we'll call that the quality group as opposed to the less quality group, they lost 21% more body fat compared to the other group's 10% loss of body fat. Almost double, or over double the amount of body fat. And they were eating more and working out less. Muscle, and this is a huge one, because so many of us start to lose weight and we think, okay, the numbers look good, the scale's looking good, I'm losing weight. But what if you were losing muscle instead? You don't want to do that. You don't want muscle wasting, because muscle is a big fat burner. Muscle loves to eat. Lots of muscle needs lots of fat to burn. It needs lots of fuel. So you want healthy, lean muscle mass. Well, the group that ate smarter and worked out less went up 9% in muscle mass. They got bigger and stronger. Now, it doesn't mean ladies are you working out with big muscles. That's not what I'm talking about. But you got better muscle mass. The group that ate less and didn't work out as smart, they lost 4% muscle mass. Okay? The smart group lost 16% belly fat. while the other group only lost 8% belly fat. And LDL cholesterol went down by 21%, so it improved there, and only 9% improvement with the group that basically ate the Western diet, worked out 40 minutes a day, 6 days a week. So do you see what's happening here? The group that ate more and worked out less but had better quality workouts and better quality nutrients had better changes across the board. Okay, so it's not about just, less calories. And it's not about working out for hours and hours a day. My workouts take about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. And when we do our next seminar, which is next month on the scientific, high-intensity workouts, I'm going to show you how you can cut it down to 10 minutes if you want. You want to do 10-minute workouts a few days a week, done, and get great results? That's what you can do. Another myth. Eating more doesn't mean you make more fat, okay? So you're not going to basically get more fat if you eat more. In fact, a study was done at the Women's Health Initiative where they tracked 49,000 women over 8 years. All these women were reducing, or in other words, kind of starving themselves a little bit, about 120 calories per day. This added up to over 350,400 fewer calories over this 8-year period. And you'd think, wow, that's a lot of calories. That's, that's closing in on 500,000 calories that they didn't eat. They must have lost a lot of weight. And what we find was this. On average, what do you think they lost?
What did they lose?
Yeah, what do you think they lost by starving themselves of 350,400 calories? Any ideas? Yeah. Well, it's not 10 pounds, it's not 15 pounds, not 20 pounds. It's not even a pound. Yeah, I mean, it looks on your faces, you're like, wow, really? They starved themselves that much, they just ate that little bit, and they didn't even lose any substantial difference in weight? 0.88 pounds? That's the difference? Yeah, that's it. So it doesn't really pay to starve yourself. It doesn't work. Another thing, too, is when we look at calories and body mass index. Okay, so body mass index is what you weigh compared basically to your height. I mean, that's really what it is. Body mass index is fairly accurate, but not completely, because it doesn't account for people that are more muscular, people that are less. So it doesn't account for the size of the person, what their makeup is. But the bottom line is this. When people ate more calories, they had a lower BMI. As their calories came down, their BMI went up. And this was a Harvard study done. Harvard found that when people ate more calories, they had a lower BMI, but as they reduced their calories, their BMI went up. Well, we don't want a high BMI. We want a lower BMI. But yet that's not what the research shows. The research shows you do better on a higher calorie diet, once again, quality calories though, than a lower calorie diet. So, the more we starve ourselves, the worse off we are. Here's what happens. All of our bodies, when you start to starve yourself, your body's got about 3 different choices of what to do. One, it's going to say, do we really want to burn fat for energy? What do we want to do here? Do we want to burn that fat? I don't know. There's too many steps. There's too many conversion steps there. Choice 2 is we can maybe burn muscle. Well, why would you want to burn muscle? Aren't you cannibalizing yourself? Well, yeah, you are. But guess what? Muscle uses a lot of energy. Remember I said it's a very hungry part of your body. It uses energy. If you're potentially starving, you know what? You're starting to get rid of stuff that's using up a lot of energy. And the other choice is slow down your metabolism. Yeah, we're going to slow it down because you know what? If we could slow it way down, we could maybe, die slower. If we're in starvation mode, we're just going to drag this out and see if maybe we can survive this. So we'll slow down the metabolism. Well, the order that does things is first it slows down your metabolism. So every time you said, you know what, I'm just going to starve myself. I'm going to starve myself, or I'm just going to, really reduce my calories down to like 600 a day, 1,000 a day. Your body goes, she's starving. He's starving. I'll just slow down the metabolism. And that's what it does. Number 2, it's going to totally just get rid of the muscle. It's just like, if a plane's going to crash or a boat, you're starting to throw luggage overboard. You just want to get the thing to stay above water. You're going to burn muscle because, once again, it uses a lot of energy. Now, here's the problem with that. If you then burn up muscle, number 1, you're not as fit anymore. You're not as healthy. And number 2, now you really can't burn much fat because your muscle's wasting away. And third, then it may go through the hassle of converting fat for energy. That's what it may do. This leads to long-term fat gain, the yo-yo effect you hear about all the time. And here's the problem. Because by doing it this way, what we tend to do then is go up and down faster. So the next time you try this attempt, your body's going to yo-yo even faster with it, and it's going to go above its own set point. So if your set point is 145, it's going to go above it because it's going to go, you know what? I'm not going to let you starve me. I'm going to store more. And that's what you experience a lot of times. You don't even have to eat a lot. Here's the problem. When we start to slow down our metabolism, so now you have a slower metabolism, and you're saying, but I'm still not eating all the calories I used to eat, your body's going, you know what? It's still too much. We'll store them. So once you slow down your metabolism, and once your body has slowed it down, now even if you're eating less, you're going, I don't get it. I'm eating less and I'm still putting on weight. That's why. Because you messed your metabolism up. It's too slow now. So we have to do the things that speed your metabolism back up. So set point, once again, our set point weight refers to the level of stored fat our body automatically likes to maintain regardless of the quality of the quantity of the calories we take in or burn off. All right, so it wants to stay at this weight. It's got your target weight. It's dialed in. And now you've got to fight hard to reset that. But we're going to show you tonight how to do that. Okay, but that's a big thing. If you don't reset your set point weight, this won't work. Okay? A heavy person's higher set point weight prompts them to store fat. Okay, so a heavy person has a naturally higher set point weight. Now, by the way, that's not genetics. It's not like, well, you know, I got bad genes, I got big bones, my mom's got it, so I have it, or my dad's got it, so I have it. It's just the way we are. Everybody in my family's heavy, so we all have this heavy set point thing. No, it's not how it works. You made that set point. By your lifestyle and your choices, you know, you've got to be responsible. You made it. So every time you would start to binge or eat more and so on, and your set point went up and it kept going up, and next thing you know, that's where your set point is. A thin person has a naturally lower set point, which causes them to burn more fat. And I know you tend to think, well, no, this person just has a slow metabolism, this one has a fast metabolism. No. I mean, yeah, that's a nice way to say set point, but once again, we've created that number. Study done in a New England Journal of Medicine of 50 women and postmenopausal men and postmenopausal women forced themselves to eat less or starve themselves for 10 weeks to lose weight. So basically what they were trying to do is mess with their metabolic system, is really what they were trying to do. Participants attempted to override their biology, the hormones that regulate their set points. The result was their appetites increased and their calorie burn decreased. So, when your body's starving, once again, what's it going to do? It's going to say, you know what? Increase the appetite. We need more food. He's trying to starve us. And you know what? Because this crazy person's trying to starve me, I'm not even going to burn the fat anymore. And that's what it does. You see how that works? So it increased the appetite and decreased the fat burn. You cannot mess with your hormones. You can't do it. Okay? Biology was trying to return them back to their set point. It's all about the set point. So, metabolic healing. This is where we start to get into the hormones now. So there's two main hormones. There's insulin and leptin. Insulin is a storage hormone your body uses anytime you take in starches, and your body has to try to clear it out and get it into your muscle or your liver. So if your body thinks it's going to be using it for energy to do something, in fact, if you saw our video right before Thanksgiving, I did a video and put it on Facebook where we were talking about that right before you sit down to eat, do some exercises. Do some push-ups, do some squats or something. Do something to get your muscles engaged, because what you're fooling your body into believing is the food you're about to eat, it needs for work. So the cool thing is it gets stored into muscle instead of stored in fat. So it's a trick. Okay? A little trick we put out on the internet. Now, here's the thing though. If your body's taking in too much starches, your body's like a traffic cop. It goes, whoa, 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 we got too many people coming in the intersection. I can't deal with this. All these starches just get right into fat. And it stores it. Whether it needs it or not, it's going right into fat. That's what your body's doing. Leptin is another hormone produced by your fat cells. And leptin has everything to do with your metabolism, has everything to do with fat storage. So it regulates your body's fat burn. okay, and how much energy we burn and how much energy is specified by our set point. So if insulin and leptin are out of balance or dysregulated, as we say, then we're not going to be able to burn fat. In fact, a lot of times you think, well, maybe there's just not enough insulin in the body. No, that's not it. Well, the problem is that you're becoming insulin resistant or leptin resistant. Okay, that means that, for example, when we test people, we have them go to LabCorp, we have a test done to see how much leptin is in their system. A lot of times we'll see people who are really overweight and we'll go, you know, these people have like way off the charts levels of leptin. Well, that doesn't make sense. If they have so much leptin, how come they're not losing the weight? But here's the problem. They're leptin resistant. If they're leptin resistant, leptin keeps having to get churned up more and more and more, be louder and louder and louder for the body to finally hear it. And that's the problem. It makes more and more leptin, but the body's not hearing it. You see? So very high levels, but yet it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Experiments show that hormones are the key to our set point. So once again, if you're doing things that are toxic or eating the wrong types of foods, it messes with your hormones, which in turn messes with your set point. It's kind of like saying, hey, I want the temperature in this room to be, 85, but I have the thermostat set at 74. It's not going. It's not going to go there. Okay? So what happens is this. When our hormones get dysregulated by the quality or lack of quality of food, instead we have so much quantity but bad quality, our body becomes hormonally clogged. So we keep taking food in, food in, food in, but at the same time, we've got this clog over here caused by our hormones, and our body's not then burning it. You see, your body should basically, you take in a lot of calories, you burn it, it goes right out. Taking a lot of calories, you burn it, it goes right out. Taking a little calories, your body adjusts to that, burns it, and it goes right out. But when your hormones aren't right, it puts like a thermostat or regulator right here. It clogs it. So that way your body can't burn it. You take in a bunch of food, poor quality food, and all it's doing is getting clogged up. So it causes it to automatically balance this out at an elevated level of body fat. So because the hormones aren't working right, and you guys are trying, what ends up happening is your body's just changing the set point. It's going to change the set point to a higher and higher and higher amount. Okay? Elevated set point. Now, to kind of give you an idea how this works, I'm going to take this right here and simplify it. When your body notices, now this is for a normal set point. Now I have 200 pounds here. I made the number up. Not normal people aren't 200 pounds. I just needed a number. Okay? So let's say a normal male is 200 pounds. Body fat goes up. If the hormones are working right, the brain automatically says what? Well, body fat went up, so we need to increase energy. Okay? We need to burn. So we're going to increase energy. And what do we also want to do? Decrease appetite. We want to burn it, churn that furnace up, burn it, burn it, burn it, and stop this crazy man from eating more food. Okay? Don't throw more wood in the furnace. We just want to burn up what we have already. Okay? So it automatically increases energy, lowers appetite, all due to the hormones. Body fat goes down, everybody's happy. Then it goes right back to normal again. Energy goes down a little bit, appetite goes up. Because now you don't need to burn so much because you're back at your normal body weight, body fat levels. And your appetite goes up again. Okay, we can eat again. It's cool, we burnt it off. Crisis is gone. Body fat's back to normal. Unless it goes up again, and then we go through the cycle again. So your body goes through these cycles by lowering, raising energy, lowering appetite, to say, you know what, don't burn fat. Okay, does that make sense? If we have fat in our system, we want to burn it off, so we raise the energy, stoke the fire, get it burning, and then we want to lower the appetite. I don't want to put more logs on the fire. Burn those logs off, get them done, and it brings that body fat back down. And the hormones are happy, and everybody's working right. Okay? Now, what if the person eats better quality food, has better quality exercise, so they're giving their body exactly what it needs? The right nutrients, right amounts, right proportions, right quality, great exercise. The hormones are at a good point. The hormones are really happy. They're not toxic. They're all working the way they're supposed to. It can actually lower your set point. So we can lower a set point. Yeah, with the quality. So now, body fat goes up, Hormones are happy, but you know what? The brain says, you know what? This guy's eating really good stuff. Let's lean him out. Let's get him really lean, chiseled, okay? So energy goes way up, not just one arrow, but 4. Way up in the energy. We're just going to burn this fire. We're going to get this guy ripped because he's eating better quality foods, exercising really well, the right way, the right scientific way. We're going to chisel him up. He's going to be ripped. Appetite goes down. Hormones are happy. Body fat drops. The guy's ripped. Hormones are happy. Now, once the body fat is down, the brain says, okay, reduce the energy. We don't need to burn so much anymore. Bring his appetite back up, and we'll just keep it in that range. Unless something happens to his body fat again, then we'll rip it around again. Okay, does that make sense? You guys getting that? Okay, now, here's the problem. When you've got poor quality food, poor quality exercise, here's the problem. The hormones are bad. Now your hormones are all out of sync. And a lot of you maybe even heard this. You go to your doctor and they say your hormones are messed up. Now we're looking at a high set point because when you've got bad hormones, your set point's going up. What am I saying? Your body weight's going up. Okay, that's what we're talking about. When I say set point, I'm talking about your body weight. Your brain automatically says, whoa, kick up the energy, burn, burn, burn. We got to burn, burn, burn. Drop the appetite like crazy. This guy's way too heavy. We've got to drop the appetite. But the hormones aren't happy. Your hormones are toxic because you've had a toxic lifestyle or you're not eating the right foods. You're eating too many starches and sweets and cookies and cakes and pies. And all of these are making your hormones really unhappy because it's toxic to them. Body fat doesn't drop very much. Not much at all. And instead, your body goes, okay, you know what? We got to start saving energy here. So it starts dropping your energy and increasing your appetite because you know why? If you're eating poor quality foods, is your body getting the nutrients it needs? So what does it think it's doing? Starving. But no, I eat like crazy. I must have had 3 sandwiches today. You know, I had some cake and I had a donut and coffee this morning. So I don't know what the problem is. I mean, I'm eating plenty, a lot of calories today. I can't see why I would think I'm starving because it's empty calories. So as long as your body thinks it's starving because you're not giving it the right nutrients, it goes into survival mode. And it says, you know what? Drop the energy. We can't afford to burn anymore. We're starving already. Increase appetite. Make this crazy person eat more because we're starving here. Hormones are still unhappy. Your body fat goes up more. Okay, does that make a little better sense of how the cycles work? All right? So, here's the good news. With hormone dysregulation, according to the Journal of Nutrition Reviews, diet-induced leptin resistance, okay, and we talked about that. I said you got to be leptin resistant, or dysregulation of one of our key hormones, insulin or leptin, in regulating weight control is fully reversible. The good news is we can reverse it. Okay, so your body's not too damaged. Studies show that 80% of individuals with severe insulin resistance can reverse the damage caused by overloaded sugar, get that, overloaded sugar, and make their cells more sensitive to insulin, again, by eating a higher quality diet. Okay? The data are clear. By increasing the quality of our eating and exercise, we can resensitize. In other words, get those insulin receptors and leptin receptors resensitized to fat-burning hormones, reduce inflammation, and enjoy the metabolism of more of a person like that of a thin person. That sounds good. That's what you want. So the whole key here is changing the quality of what you're eating. Now, we're also going to get into, even though you have quality, what's the better quality, and what's the key ones to eat, and which ones do you want to avoid? Which ones can create more inflammation, which ones don't? Which ones can spike your sugar, which ones don't? Okay, so we're going to get into that. All right, this is how we're going to look at the foods you guys eat. So all your foods are going to be basically classified and categorized if it's sane or not. Okay? Sane basically means S is satiety. How filling is it? Are you filling up on this? Is it giving you the right amount of nutrients? Are you feeling full to where you don't want to eat anymore? Are you satisfied? Is it giving you the nutrients you want? Well, there's basically 2 and even 3 things that will give you more satiety. And what that is this. You guys have all heard of bulk, right? Okay, bulky food. What's bulk made up of? Fiber and what else? Water. Exactly right. Fiber and water. That's the recipe for bulk. Okay? So the more water something has in it, and the more fiber something has, the more it's going to fill you up. You know, I used to think, well, it was all about just, fat. Fat sticks to your ribs, doesn't it? Fat would really fill you up. Not really. I don't get too full on a teaspoon of olive oil. And yet it's a lot of calories. Or a tablespoon of olive oil. It's good for me, but at the same time, it's not really filling me up. What would fill me up is, basically a pound of Brussels sprouts. Actually, this is a little less than a pound of Brussels sprouts, and it's probably under 100 calories, or maybe 100 calories. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the thing is that'll fill me up more for a whole lot less calories, too. And not that I'm counting calories, but when I get better quality calories instead of just quantity, it makes all the difference. Okay? So, the next one is aggression. And by the way, one more thing here, too. Water and fiber have 0 calories. The more water you add to something, you're filling up, but yet it's not giving you any more mass. Okay? It's just filling you up. 0 calories. And protein. Protein has a great ability to stretch your stomach. And when it stretches your stomach, the receptors say, hey, I'm full. So good thing about proteins too. Water, fiber, and protein-rich foods tend to fill you up more. And that's what you want to stick to. The great thing about protein foods is protein foods are 5 steps away from being converted to fat. That's a lot of steps. So your body typically does not want to convert protein to fat if it doesn't have to. It's too many steps. Aggression. How likely are calories going to be converted to glucose, which can then go right into your bloodstream and go into fat? So a more aggressive food is one that spikes insulin more. If it spikes insulin more, it's going to be stored more. Okay? Because insulin is a storage hormone. So anything that spikes insulin is going to be an aggressive food. Okay, so remember that. Here's another thing too. When food comes into your body is looking at it saying, are we going to repair? Are we fueling anything? Or are we storing or fattening? So if a food comes in and your body goes, you know what? We have repairing to go do right now. Any proteins around? Yeah, cool. Get those right into the repair section. And we need fuel, right? Because we're tired. We need fuel right in our bodies. Kati, can you open the door, please? Just crack it a little bit. We need fuel. And if you need fuel, it's going to take whatever it is and fuel it. But you know what? If it doesn't need any fuel, what's it going to do? Store it. Except it'll store it as fat. Okay? Nutrition. That's the N in SANE. How many vitamins, minerals, essential amino acids, and essential fatty acids are there per calorie? So the key thing about that is we talked about essential amino acids and essential fatty acids. Amino acids are protein. Fatty acids are fats. Have we ever heard of an essential carbohydrate? It doesn't exist. Essential carbohydrates do not exist. And what does that tell us? Carbohydrates aren't necessary in our diet. Why are they not necessary in our diet? Because our body can make them from other foods. Essential amino acids cannot be made from certain foods. That's why you have to have certain proteins. You have to eat certain meats or whatever because it's not in certain plant foods. You need certain fatty acids because if you don't get it from this food, your body won't make it. There are no essential carbohydrates. Your body can make a carbohydrate from anything or other materials in your body. So it shows you that carbohydrates aren't as necessary as we think, yet it makes up at least half of our diets. Now, Andy, you guys have Andy scores in front of you. What Andy means is aggregate nutrient density index. Big fancy terms for how nutrient dense is it. That's really what it comes down to. How nutrient dense is the food you're eating? Is it fueling you? Is it giving you all the minerals you need? You look at some of the ones like on top, like kale. Kale is a rock star. I eat kale, I'd say probably almost daily. I'm going to pass this around. I want you guys to see this. Nobody eat it. But this is lacinato kale. I love lacinato kale. Much better than curlicue kale. I think it does better. Okay, it's nice and soft, and it's super healthy for you, and it makes a great salad. It's not bitter, so you want to use something like that more. Okay, lacinato kale. Now,
is that a regular grocery store?
you probably won't find that except for Whole Foods. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't see it ever at Costco or Publix or Kroger. Anyway, so nutrition. Then efficiency. How easily are the calories converted into body fat? So if they can be converted very easily, do you want to be eating that kind of food? No. So if they can be converted easily, I don't really want it in my food. So anything that has is sane, that's what we want to eat. Anything that is what we call insane, we don't want to eat. So sane foods trigger the release of body fat. So it's releasing the body fat, burning hormones, clearing clogs. Clogs are what? Caused by what? Huh? The hormones. Remember the hormones we talked about. And lowers your set point. So the more of the sane foods that you eat, and we're going to show you which are the sane ones, the more sane foods you eat, the more your body's in fat burning mode. Okay? And once again, like I said, I'm not giving you stuff that's some kind of, special product you have to buy online or go, get some kind of, special, herb root somewhere. That's not what I'm talking about. This is stuff you eat at home right now. Insane foods provide few nutrients and are easily converted to body fat, triggering the release of body fat storing hormones. Insane food cause the clogs and raise your set point. Calorie quality controls the hormones. All right, so it's all about the calorie quality. I'm going to keep coming back to that. Not calorie quantity. It's quality. Because here's the reality. When you eat the right quality foods, you can eat as much as you want. I mean, you can eat a lot of them. Like I say, eat like an elephant, look like a gazelle. That's the truth. When you're eating the right quality foods, you can eat as much as you want. You'll be too full to even eat as much as you want, is the reality. Okay? Right. Now, many nutrients per calorie provided by non-starchy vegetables, seafood, high-quality meats, and dairy, low fructose fruits, and nuts and seeds means high-quality nutrition. So that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on low-starch vegetables, meats, seafood, nuts, seeds, berries, some dairy. Okay? All these things are high-quality nutrition. Nutrition quality affects whether we are burning fat or slowing down and burning muscle. Once again, we don't want to burn muscle. So, high-quality foods burn what? Fat. Low-quality foods, muscle. Because your body feels like it's starving. If you're getting low-quality foods, once again, your body's saying, hey, yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff coming in, but I'm not pulling much nutrients out of it. It's not there. There's no nutrients in this. When we eat more fiber and water and protein-packed foods, we get more essential nutrients while avoiding overeating. Okay, why don't we overeat? We're full. When you get water, fiber, and protein, that's bulky, you don't overeat. So if you don't overeat, you don't get all the wrong calories in your system. You don't want the calorie quantity, you want the quality. Avoiding overeating and overwhelming the body with glucose. Because what did I said happens when you overwhelm the body with glucose? Like a traffic cop. Whoa, stop. Just get right in the fat zone. I got a story, you guys. I don't know what to do with you. Just get out of the way. You're clogging everything up. Okay? So when you eat a piece of cake, and by the way, here's how that works. I want to talk about sugars for a second. There are basically three kinds of sugars we use in our bodies on a regular basis. Okay, we have glucose, which is the preferred energy source in our body. So our body likes glucose. That's what it tends to run on. Another one is sucrose, right? You guys know what sucrose is, right? Table sugar, okay, that white stuff, sucrose. And then we also have fructose. Fructose is fruit sugar, okay? Now, fructose has to go through the liver to be processed. So it doesn't go into your bloodstream too quickly and spike it. Okay, it has to be processed through your liver first. Sucrose, table sugar, is a molecule of fructose, which has to be processed first, and glucose. Glucose can go right in. Remember the third one is glucose. Glucose itself. Glucose goes right into the bloodstream. Now, the foods that have the most glucose are corn, wheat, potatoes, and rice. So that's why when you eat white bread, even whole wheat bread, it will spike your blood sugar more than eating a candy bar. Why is that? Well, what kind of sugar is in a candy bar? Sucrose, yeah. Sucrose is in a candy bar, and what is sucrose made of? One molecule of fructose and one molecule of glucose. So here's the problem. It's got to be converted first. So because half of that molecule has to be converted first, that means it's not going to go into your bloodstream and spike it. That's why you're worse off eating a piece of bread for breakfast, like a piece of toast, but I'm eating my whole wheat toast. My doctor told me to eat all my whole grains. You spike your blood sugar more, setting your body up for storage even faster than eating a candy bar because you ate whole wheat toast like your doctor told you. Isn't that amazing? I'm eating my healthy whole grains. Yeah, you're getting fiber. Who cares? You get more fiber from spinach and not many calories. A surplus of essential nutrition is the opposite of starvation and is the key to fat loss instead of frustration. So you want to not be frustrated anymore. Eat higher quality nutrition. Very simple. Bulk. We talked about that earlier. Bulk is made of what? Two main things. Water and fiber. What's going to fill you up more? About 400 calories of vegetables, 400 calories of chicken, or 400 calories of oil? Pretty obvious, right? Not much there, but it's the same 400 calories. So calories are not created equal. You see? You want to be eating more of this. And by the way, more of this starts to lower your set point. Something very interesting. When you start looking at calories, calorie density, we'll say, we start to see this. Vegetables on average, are about 100 calories a pound. That's a lot. I love Brussels sprouts. I couldn't eat this many. That's a lot of Brussels sprouts. But yet, if I took this home and I had it for lunch, that'd be 100 calories. I'd be like totally full for the rest of the day. I couldn't eat all this. Okay? Filled with a lot of water and a lot of fiber. Okay? So broccoli, 128 calories a pound. I'm going to talk about pounds right now because pounds are easy because we measure those all the time. I mean, we talk about grams on a food label, but does anybody know what a gram really weighs? No, nobody knows. They just look at it on a label and say, oh, I can only get 24 grams of starch or carbs. I need 15 grams of protein. What does that really feel like? You can't weigh it. So we're going to talk in pounds because everybody knows pounds. Orange is about 211 calories a pound. Oatmeal, 325. Baked potato, 495. And red beans, about 550. Now you notice all these are in green because once we break this barrier of about 550 calories a pound, it gets harder to keep the weight off. Okay? As long as we're down on this end, we can eat as much as we want of this stuff. But when we start to cross this one, we have to start working out a lot more to be burning it off. When we start getting into this range, like white bread, 1,120 calories a pound. Holy cow. That's calorie dense. Oreos. I mean, how many people love Oreos, right? Yeah, right? Oreos. 2,197 calories a pound. So if you go home and eat one of those little sleeve sizes of it, where you just kind of take the cellophane off and eat that whole row, you just ate about 2,000 calories. And how easy is it to do? Real easy. When I first met my wife, I was about 20 pounds heavier. Now, my wife thought I was like a pro wrestler back then. 20 pounds heavier. Because I used to love going home and taking a whole row of those Chips Ahoy and just doing a whole row of Chips Ahoy with milk. I would dunk it. When I was done with that row, I was done. That's probably about 2,000 calories, just like that, in one sitting. It's crazy, right?
And then I couldn't cook, so he'd have pasta, because that's all I could do.
Yeah. Good thing I can cook. Yeah, another bad problem, right? All right, so Oreos are 2,000 calories a pound. Almonds are 2,600. Now, Does that mean don't eat almonds? No, it doesn't mean don't eat almonds, especially raw almonds. They're great for you. But here's the problem. Raw almonds, you just don't eat a lot of them. You just can't eat like, how many times do people sit down and just eat through a whole can of them or something? Just don't eat that many. Oils, 4,000 calories a pound. So oils are really calorie dense. That's why you typically just use it sparingly on foods. But here's the thing. I love oils. I use it in everything. I use coconut oil in cooking. I use olive oil in cooking and so on. But here's the thing. It's not a whole food. So coconut oil, would you say it's a whole food or concentrated food? Well, is it looking the way it came off the tree? No. It looks like coconut oil. Now, it's very good for you, yes. But it's not a whole food anymore. So, are we much better off eating the whole food or the concentrated version? The whole food, right? And we're getting all of it in the right proportions, not just all the oil. So here's the thing. You're better off eating coconut than coconut oil if you just want to snack on something. I mean, I know people say, I don't eat coconut oil. But the point is that it is a more concentrated, denser food. So you really don't want to use that as much as the whole food itself. Okay? So here's the thing. When we're looking at types of foods, we want to make sure that they're sane, right? Vegetables, 5 stars. Vegetables are rock stars, okay? Especially the ones on that sheet that I gave you with the Andy scores. Seafood, meats, and eggs, 5 stars. Okay, they're all good. They're all good for you. And we're going to give you lists of seafood, lists of meats, and so on. Nuts and seeds, 3.5 stars. Okay? We're getting into a little more fat now with those. Okay? But still very good, especially in their raw forms. You don't want to eat roasted nuts. You always want raw. Fruits, 3 stars. Why? Because now we're taking in fructose. So you want to concentrate on the low sugar fruits, not the higher sugar fruits. So the low sugar fruits are things like berries and melons, things like that. Okay. Legumes, most dairy, 2.5 stars. Oils, 2 stars. Why? Because once again, they're concentrated. Very concentrated. Whole grain starch, okay, your whole wheat bread, 1.5 stars. Don't eat it. If you want to really lose weight, you want to just catapult yourself into losing weight, just cut out the grains. You got to cut out the grains. If you look at our entire human existence, 98.9% of it, 98.5, 98.9% of it, we didn't eat grains. Grains are only recent in our human history. It's only recent stuff. And ever since we started putting grains more into our diets, we've had more diabetes and other kinds of health issues. Okay? When grains weren't existent, when they look at fossil and human remains, they don't see the diseases they see now. Because we were hunter-gatherers. Okay? Everybody ever heard of paleo? Yeah, paleo is a great way to go. Paleo is a hunter-gatherer diet. It's quality meats, quality vegetables, quality, nuts, seeds, and berries, things like that. Okay? Not all the grains. Processed starch, 0.5 star. So anything that's processed, by the way, the closer you can keep things to the way God made it, the better. The more refined and processed it is, the worse it is. And then, of course, sweeteners, especially artificial sweeteners, poison. Poison. I don't care if it's in a yellow packet and it looks cute. It's poison.
Truvia. And it's really interesting.
I don't know enough about Truvia yet. Is Truvia bleached also?
Unless it's green, it's not natural.
Well, Truvia comes from the stevia plant.
Right.
Yeah, well, the same thing they say about Splenda. It's made from sugar, but it's not, because they take the sugar in a chemical laboratory and they pull off all the hydrogens and they chlorinate it. So chlorine, which none of us would drink or eat anyway, is on the sugar molecule, and that's what makes Splenda. So I don't know how it works with Truvia, what they've done with that. I haven't looked at it enough yet. Okay? But I would stick away from sweeteners anyway. Just stay away from artificial sweeteners especially. So here's the thing. This is where most Americans are. Most Americans are where they're eating 24% starch, another 19% sweeteners, and actually I think this is even worse, because I know a lot of people that are probably eating about 75% starches. That's all they eat all day long. Okay? But for the most part, on average, we're starving on the inside because insulin cannot effectively get the energy into the cells. All right? So all the starch, a little bit of meat, a little bit of dairy, vegetables, 8%. I mean, 8% is nothing. No wonder we're starving on the inside to where our bodies think, whoa, slow metabolism down, increase appetite. We need to get this person eating because we're starving. Meanwhile, you're going, no, I'm not. I'm eating plenty of cake, plenty of bread. I got pasta like crazy I'm eating. I'm full. I can't even eat anymore. But your body's going, I'm starving because it's not getting any nutrients. So with insulin inhibiting our ability to burn fat, the body has no choice but to slow down, burn muscle tissue, and demand more food. You're starving. I need more food. Okay? Here's the problem. What ends up happening is this. When we take in more sugar, and sugar isn't a form. A lot of people look at that and go, that's not sugar. I don't eat sugar. No, I don't eat sweets. That's sugar. That's a big sugar molecule. Picture it this way. When you take a glucose molecule and you string a bunch of them together, glucose is sugar, and you string a bunch together, you make a bagel. A bunch together, you make bread. A bunch together, you make pasta. Same thing. Glucose is the same as pasta and bagels and bread. It's all sugar. So when you take in a bagel, you increase blood sugar. Your body also increases insulin. Insulin gets spiked up because your body says, whoa, we got to get this out of the bloodstream. And what does it do? It stores it. It stores it, especially when you're taking in wheat, in belly fat, right around here. Why am I not losing this belly fat? I'm good here. I don't have it on my thighs and butt, but the belly, right here, I got those, what do you call them, muffin tops or something like that. You know, I got those things. It's because you're eating too much wheat. Wheat puts it here specifically. Other kinds of sugars will put it in other places, but wheat will put it right here every time. But the dangerous thing about wheat and these other starches, remember I said, what 4 things make starch? Wheat, corn, rice, okay, what was the other one? Potato. Yep, those are your starches. Those are all glucose. Wheat especially causes the fat cells to now produce estrogen, which causes you to store more fat. It creates a metabolic factory within the cells of hormones, these estrogens and leptin. Okay, now, all the fat not only gets stored in the waist, but it gets stored in the viscera, inside your body. That's where it's dangerous. Fat on your thighs isn't going to hurt anybody. Fat in your stomach, around your heart, around your liver, around the other organs, that is life-threatening. That's why you cannot eat the grains that we're eating today, especially today's wheat. It is too cross-hybridized. It is overly bred. That was a pun on words. I didn't mean it that way, but that was pretty good. But no, it's been cross-hybridized over 25,000 times. It's not the same wheat. The same wheat originally was called einkorn wheat, and that wheat was only 14 chromosomes. Today's wheat's over 42. It's not the same wheat anymore. It's like saying humans now have, 118 chromosomes, not those, 96 anymore, or 48. We have a lot more now. Well, what do you have, 3 heads? I mean, this just doesn't make sense. So, SANE eating. This is it. This is what you should be eating now. In fact, nutrient-dense proteins. Okay, that means fish, that means eggs, especially egg whites. Now, some proteins are better than others. What I mean by that is this. Some proteins are burnable better, they burn easier, and some proteins are actually more protein than they are fat. See, when we categorize a food, we look at it and say, is an egg really protein? Well, sure, I eat eggs for protein. No, eggs really more fat. Only 35% of its calories come from protein. So egg is technically classified as a fat. It's a good fat, though. But what about the whites? Well, the whites are all protein. Very high source of protein, about 91%. So if you want just pure protein of it, you got to take the eggs and the whites and separate them. But if you want the fats in with it too, know that you're getting fat there too, which you might need. Of course you need. But you might say, well, I've had enough fat for today. I'm just going to cut back a little bit. But just know that, fat's not making you fat, and at the same time, the egg yolks are healthy for you. They really are. Great omega-3 fats. Okay? So non-starchy vegetables, nutrient-dense proteins, whole food fats. Okay? Once again, I have here oils, but the bottom line is things like avocados are great. I eat a lot of avocados. Every day I eat avocado. Okay? So, and low fructose fruits. So you want berries, tend to be more berries and melons, things like that. All right, and you have a whole list. Can I have that sheet, honey? Do you have an extra one?
Yeah.
Oh, you got an extra one? Thank you. All right, so here's your whole list. Yeah, sure. I'm going to have it for dinner later. By the way, you want to talk about just ease. I mean, you got 35 grams of protein right here, low fat. I mean, not that fat's a problem, but tuna, things like that. Who's ever heard of like Vegenaise?
Yes.
Yeah, Vegenaise is very good. I love Vegenaise. It's a natural mayonnaise that's made from like say olive oil and things like that. So it's very good for you. I like it a lot. So here's your SANE food guide. Common starchy vegetables, any of those are fair game. Eat them up like crazy. Nutrient-dense proteins. So over here it says 10 servings a day. What? How am I going to possibly eat 10 servings of vegetables a day? Just know that you can. You can eat 10 a day. Now, how do I get up to that? Well, if you take, say, 5 little broccoli florets, that's a serving right there. So today when I went home for lunch, I grilled some chicken, and I had a pile of broccoli. I must have had probably 4 servings right there. Just like that. If I'm making a smoothie in the morning, I take a handful of spinach, there's another one. That's 5 right there. 5 servings that easily? Yes. If I go home for dinner, which I'm going to have, and I'm going to have more, probably Brussels sprouts. Here's my dinner right here. Or maybe I'll make a kale salad. By the way, here's a great idea for a kale salad. Who here has ever made a kale salad? I know you're probably thinking, ooh, this stuff is bitter.
What kind of kale is that again?
Lacinato. I think it's Lacinado. Anyway, this kind of kale, all you do is slice it so that you take the rib out, okay? Take the kale, and then you chop it up into pieces, bite-sized pieces about that big. I put it into a mixing bowl, or just a bowl, and I add lemon juice, salt, and a little bit of olive oil. And then I just take it and work it with my hands, just like that. And what you'll notice is the lemon juice, because of the acidity, will actually start to wilt the kale, and it really kind of cooks it without using any heat. So it's very good. It doesn't denature it like that. And then all you do is add whatever you want to it. I like pine nuts. You want to put cucumbers in it. You want to put red bell peppers. You could put avocado in with it. Whatever you want. You want to put romaine lettuce on top. Anything. My kids love it. I mean, one of my youngest daughter just is always like, Daddy, make me more. I want more of that. And I'm thinking, really? You like it? Great. But it's super nutrient dense. And as you can see, on your Andy score list, it's the rock star. It's 1,000. So you can get such super nutrient dense. And by the way, if you're eating stuff like this, does your body think you're starving? No. So you might be getting less calories, but more super nutrition. So by getting super nutrition, your body goes, oh, she's not starving. He's not starving. So what does it do to your set point? Lowers it. It goes, oh, we're not in starvation mode. I can reduce my energy. I can increase my energy a little bit, reduce my appetite. I'm feeling good. And your set point goes down. But if you're not, and instead you're eating, iceberg lettuce, which has about that much nutritional value to it. I had a salad today. Yeah, okay, with 3 little pieces of carrot on it, some iceberg lettuce, and a crouton or 2. Your body goes, we're starving. No, I ate. I ate. I had a big salad of iceberg lettuce. I ate. I'm full. Yeah, maybe because it had fiber in it and some water, but it was no nutritional value. So your body thinks it's starving, so it raises your set point. It says, you know what? Drop energy, increase appetite. We need to eat.
What about vinegar?
Apple cider vinegar is better. Yeah, apple cider vinegar, especially raw, so it has a nice probiotics in it. Apple cider vinegar is great. I like Bragg's a lot. Bragg's makes aminos, which is basically like soy sauce. Use apple cider vinegar. Okay? All right, so this is what your plate should look like. Roughly. Now, you can see it. I've seen it too, where it's about a third, and a third. But you know what? You want at least half of your plate to be vegetables. So look at your plate. If you're not eating vegetables, and preferably close to raw. And who here likes broccoli? Okay, cool. A lot of people. I was shown a really cool way to make broccoli where it cooks faster and it stays crunchier better than if I steam it, and then it gets kind of like watery a little bit. You ever notice that? As you're draining it, it's still a little bit watery. So what I do is I get a pan going pretty hot, and I put a little coconut oil in it, and then I throw the broccoli in it. And I just flip it around on this high heat, okay? And then what I do is I just a little salt and pepper on it, and it starts to just kind of change its color a little bit. Then I'll take, a little bit of chicken stock, or even water is fine, and I'll just put a little bit on there, and I'm talking maybe a tablespoon amount, a little over a tablespoon, And what it does is, as I flip it around, it starts to coat the water on it, and the water steams it a little bit without adding much water. Then I put a little bit of garlic on it, and done. Plated. A minute, 2 minutes at the most. Fast, and it's crispier and crunchier.
Come to your house.
Yeah, let's go. It's crispier and crunchier than any other way that I've ever made it. And it's really good. And the pan gives it almost like a little bit of a nuttier flavor. You know, and you can put whatever you want with it. If you want to put almonds in with it, you know, do that. Nicely, though. It makes it a nice, mellow kind of flavor. It's really good. I love coconut oil. All right, so once again, about a third of your plate protein, you know, maybe a third or less fat, and the rest of it vegetables, low-starch vegetables, with the ones we gave you in the list. All right, so let's play a little game. What's going to fill you up better? Here we go. And fuel you. 1.5 cups of lentil soup, which is 100 calories, or 2 chicken nuggets. Yeah, right? I mean, why? It's got liquid in it. It's got fiber in it. It's got nutrients in it. Your body's not going to think it's starving. So, by the way, as you starve yourself, what does your body do? Like I said, lowers your energy. I don't want to burn any calories up. I'm going to starve myself. And you walk around crabby because you're just kind of low energy because you're starving yourself. That's your body going, you know what? Honeydew, about 140 calories, or 2 fig Newtons. Once again, calorie density increases when we pull water out of things, okay? Very non-watery. Might have a little bit of fiber in the figs, but very non-watery, so it won't fill you at all. So it's very easy to eat 3 dozen of those things, right? Just popping them like this. 3 dozen of them gone, and you're at like 1,500 calories in no time, just like that. So you want to eat something high water, high fiber, okay? And it's more natural. This is closer to the way God made it. That's not. Once again, eat things as close to the way God made it. 2 pounds of pineapple or 4 ounces of gummy bears. Same amount of calories, you know?
What about the sugar response in the pineapple? Because pineapple is very high on the...
Yeah, I mean, if I'm saying eat lower fructose sugars, this really wouldn't be one of them. I'm just giving you examples now of what it could look like to have a healthier diet compared to this. Okay, I'm not saying go out and eat a bunch of pineapple though. But you know what? If you're at a good set point weight, you can have the pineapple. I'm going to eat it. In fact, I'm Italian. If I'm at a good set point weight, I'm having my cannolis. You know, because I love cannolis.
10%.
My 10%. That's right. Okay, 2 pounds of broccoli. Or a little bit of French fries, you know, this much French fries. I know they are. Your set point will stay high. High set point, low set point. Okay? It's your choice. 10%, yeah. All right, so start off small with the foods, okay? Just don't go in and say, I'm just going to go crashing in and just start eating crazy amounts of everything. You don't have to do that. You know, start off small, just substitute. Substitute. If your normal breakfast in the morning is to have, you know, a muffin, say, you know what, I don't want the grains, I don't want the starch, it's going to spike my blood sugar, my set point's going to go up. You know what, I'll make an omelet today. I'll poach an egg, whatever it is. Have a protein instead. Have some, you know what, oh, I don't like eggs. Well, cut up some tomatoes. Cut up an avocado. Whatever you want to do. Okay? So 10 servings of vegetables a day, start off with 3. Because some of you might be saying, I don't get enough vegetables at all. So if I start with 3, that's a lot. Okay, start with 3 and work up. Okay? I'm not into like deprivation. I want you guys to eat more. So eat more of this stuff and you'll be great. Nutrient-dense proteins. You know what? I've been underdoing my protein for years because I was always told you can only assimilate a certain amount at a certain time. But there's a muscle protein synthesis hormone in our bodies called leucine. And leucine kicks in only after you eat a certain amount of protein. I didn't know that. I just found that out. So I need to eat more protein to build more muscle mass to be able to burn more fat. So for years, I think I've been shortchanging myself because I didn't eat enough protein. So ladies, you can eat about 100 grams a day if you want. And the great thing is I see people who don't get enough protein, their hair's falling out, they're malnourished, they're just not doing well. About 3 to 6 servings a day of fats, and then about 0 to 3 servings a day of the fruits. Okay, but just work in that range, and like I said, just go little by little. All right. Now, any questions so far?
What about, you've got rice protein powder. I thought you were
Yeah.
supposed to stay away from the rice.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people don't like or they can't handle an egg protein. They don't want eggs. They don't want, or they're vegetarian. Maybe somebody's saying, hey, you know what? Nope, I will not touch anything that had a face. Okay, well then you need some protein. You know, you can have hemp protein, you could have pea protein, or you can have rice protein. But you need to get some protein into your system. Otherwise, your muscles are going to waste away. So that's the reason for that. I don't recommend a rice protein. I personally don't like them because I'd rather work with like a whey protein, which has a super high protein efficiency ratio. The one we sell is probably the cleanest one you'll ever find. There's about 4 ingredients on it.
It's really good too.
And it tastes amazing, yeah. And it's sweetened with stevia, but yet you don't taste the stevia. This right here has got, you know, the glutathione, which is an incredible antioxidant, and that's what you get with whey protein. So this is non-denatured from grass-fed cows. Fantastic type of protein. Love it, love it, love it. If you're not getting enough vegetables, do what I do. I drink a green drink every day. In fact, it's right behind you right there. I always drink greens. I put a scoop in my protein powder, in my protein or my smoothies. That's another way to get a lot of greens into your diet, is get a high quality, really high quality, once again, greens powder. This one happens to be the best on the market. Green Vibrance is #1.